Welcome back, everyone. This is Kenneth Ellington. I'm the founder and CEO of Ellington Cyber Academy. This is episode 2 and my personal series that I am doing to talk about their various cybersecurity topics, try to better educate everyone inside the career field. So for today's topic, I want to cover what incident response is, and what does life like that actually look like, and why is it important for people that actually want to do the career path in the career field to actually understand like what it takes to be an incident responder and the mental requirements necessary in order to be successful in this regard. Quick notes, we do have a new cyber range open for business for memberships. We have a custom Splunk Enterprise Security app for a production environment that you can play around in and build actual resume experience with to give towards employers. So if you're interested in that, check out the link either above or below. I'll ask my designer to put it there to actually join the cyber range. All information and pricing should be in the links. If there's any questions, just drop them in the comments below and click to subscribe. Now back towards what we were talking about. So what is incident response, right? Let me break this down to a couple of different topics or talking points. So you have a SOC environment, right, for cybersecurity. SOC environment stands for Security Operations Center. That functionally meaning a security center that's designed to protect against certain attacks vectors for corporations. They can be internal or external. If they're internal, let's say JP Morgan has their own SOC team, which they do. I worked with them in the past before. Their SOC team just manages JP Morgan's environment and whatever, I guess, internal client JP Morgan has, right? You can then have like an external cybersecurity company. Think of like ReliaQuest for an MSSP, and MSSP means Managed Security Services Provider. What that functionally means is they just sell security as a service. So they sell their security expertise towards other companies that don't want to manage their own security department or don't have the time or resources to do it. So ReliaQuest is based out of Tampa, Florida. I think they're official partners of the Buccaneers and Boston Celtics. I did technically work with them because I did their internship bootcamp program thing back at USF in 2018. So they're one of the biggest MSPs in the country, I believe, right now. So they'll sell their services like threat hunting, threat intelligence work, SOC enablement work towards various firms in order to protect the corporate assets. All right, so now we understand what an actual SOC environment is and what internal and external means, right? So within a SOC environment, there's various different roles you will have. You might have a SOC analyst that does initial triaging, like level 1, level 2. Those are just different levels as to how the SOC might operate. You can then have like security engineers who will actually go out and build the various components for the security team. And then you'll have like security architects, which will design their frameworks and the design of how the environment's actually run and managed. Then you have like a SOC manager, which will manage all the employees and all of the teams for the SOC environment. There can be more various roles, right? Some firms specialize more in like threat hunting or threat intelligence. Like think of Palo Alto's Unit 42. Palo Alto's I think Palo Alto is the larger pure play cybersecurity company out on the market. They have their own threat intelligence, threat hunting, adversarial thing called Palo Alto Unit 42, which they sell those services towards various people and various organizations in that regard. And if your incident responders are normally tier 2 or tier 3, there's normally 3 levels of it. There could be different ones, but it just depends on the firm. Think of tier 1 as like initial triage. So an attack happens and analysts have to initially respond towards it or do the initial investigation for it. That will be tier 1. Tier 2 will be known threats that have happened within the environment. Incident responders will take a look at it. Those are normally tier 2. Tier 3 is normally more proactive. So think of like threat hunters or threat intelligence for professionals. They go out and actually prevent attacks from happening for a corporation. So that would be actually tier 3 in that regard. For my day job, I have worked for my day jobs, should I say. I've worked numerous jobs in the past. I worked all the way from tier 1 to tier 3. I've been a SOC analyst. I've been a security engineer, security architect person, a detection engineer, a threat hunter, a threat intelligence person. I've worked entire gambit. Also, drop in the comments below if you could. If you want more videos on those various roles and how they actually work and how to get jobs in it or training materials in it, just let me know and maybe we'll make it happen for you. Anyways, incident responder is someone that once an incident actually happens, so a known threat that either affects or compromises an organization, they will then go out and remediate that threat for the organization. So think of incident responder as almost like a firefighter, right? When stuff hits the fan, basically, they're there for people to actually respond towards the threat in most cases and try to remediate it or stop the fire. That's basically what incident responders do for most organizations. And you can have external or internal. So external consultants basically handling the corporation's environment. Let's say ReliaQuest, or I should put this. Let's say Walmart will hire for ReliaQuest to manage their security department. That would be external. Or Publix has their own internal security department, right? It just depends and varies. So that's okay. So now we have to set the stage for how that actually works, right? Part two to this would be, why would you ever want to be an incident responder? So with incident responding, it is a lot of fun, right? It can be very exciting, right? Because you are the firefighters, right? So if you have that type of mindset, you like to help people out, help corporations out, solve challenging problems. They can be really, really fun. It can also be really stressful, which you want to talk about. So there is like a mental cost and toll for that if you are an incident responder. Again, your mileage may vary. It may depend on what firm you actually work for and what you do. But I've worked for either consultant for or worked for, have personal clients for 15 companies in the past 7 years. So I've been in numerous environments. I worked from technically retail. I worked banking, finance, insurance, local government, state government, federal government, government contracting. I think those are the main ones, and probably much more. I can't think off the top of my head. But I've worked a lot of different industries, and it can be a very stressful job. So I'll break down like a daily basis what might happen. Let's say you work normal shift, right? Like a day shift. So let's say like from 8 to 5. When you log in, you're basically going to be checking various things that have happened over the past day for your team, right? For instance, that have happened within the corporation, or since that have not been triaged yet. You then log into whatever SIM environment you're using, and SIM stands for Security Information Event Monitoring System. So think of like Splunk Enterprise Security, QRadar, Microsoft Sentinel, Palo Alto XCM. You'll log inside those various environments or your Jira or service management platform, so ServiceNow or Jira. Then you'll take a look at whatever tickets are on the board and you'll start to handle those. There's various levels of severity for incidents as well, for how bad it's actually shutting down the corporation. So any immediate threats you'll be tasked with handling. If you're on call for incident response, which will often be the case that part of your job responsibilities. If you're day shift and you call at 2 a.m. in the morning, you have to wake up and handle it, right? That's just part of your life. The corporation is good. You'll be on a rotating schedule. And so you want to do it like every week. But if you're understaffed, your team's small, you'd be on call every single week, which I've experienced that for months on end, and it sucks like hell. We get called like directly after work. So if you're eating, you're hanging out with your friends, your wife or your girl, you'll have to drop what you're doing and handle it, right? If you're calling every single week, sometimes I've gotten 10 calls like in a day. It's been the weekend, it sucked. I had to like drive back home, and then take care of the incidents, right? It sucks even more when you know it's like really benign stuff, but you still have to handle it because that's part of your job responsibilities, right? Because think of it like this. The corporations that are hiring you or the internal firms have certain metrics and KPIs or key performance indicators that they have to measure based on you against. Like mean time to detection, mean time to response, mean time towards like remediation, mean time to acknowledgement, that you have to get certain time frames in order to meet your service level agreement or SOA for that. If you don't meet those requirements, you can either get fired, a firm can lose a contract, people can lose their jobs, right? So it's very important that we meet those requirements for the firm. And so you have to be decently quick, normally with like an hour to respond back. If you get an incident ping using pages or whatever paging system your firm uses. Like I tell these stories so you guys like understand like what it takes to work in this sector, in this field. Because it can be a lot of work, right? There are days where I'll work 18 hours. Like I've been working 18 hours for the past probably a month. It's been a lot, right? It's been really mentally draining. It's been hard. It can be really stressful for that. So just like understand like what you get inside of in that regard. There is a mental toll in that, right? Because things aren't always going to be easy. There'll be instances where you don't know how to handle, so you have to call your team members and wake them up too, and they might be upset about you. You'll have to basically handle that at best towards your abilities. So another question I get, how long should be an incident responder before I get promoted or something like that? If you work at MSSPs, their turnover rate is normally really high. So I can average like under 2 years people will stay at MSSP firms because it can be very stressful, but you do gain a lot of experience really quickly. People like use that, pivot, and then get something better or higher paying for those type of roles. So I would say maybe a couple years at most, and then you can get promoted or leave, or even earlier if you like really grind it out. It just depends in that regard. I've changed jobs on average like probably every 2 years or so. Some because of layoffs, some because of it's a crappy management structure, some because the job's got boring. So this depends on what your goals really are for that. But I would say incident response is a really good field to get inside of within cybersecurity. It can be hard, it can be stressful, but just make the best out of it for your best situation for it. You're gonna pause for a second. Again, if you have any questions about it, I want more content like this for different roles. I can talk about detection engineering, threat hunting. I want to talk about it as well. Just drop your comments inside the chat. If you want like a roadmap for incident responding or detection engineering, let me know. We're probably gonna do an episode like on detection engineering, like a roadmap. I'll share my screen so you guys know what to expect and cover that as well. And probably like the last note I want to talk about within like the incident response topic is like protect your mental health, because again it can be a lot of work and you can get really burnt out, really stressed. You do make really good money in cybersecurity overall for most positions. I think like incident responder like at a medium-sized firms, like let's take a Fortune 500 company. If you're like mid-level, you'll make probably like 110, 130. If you're senior level, you make like 140, like 200K, like base salary. Right, so that's really, really good money. That's above, I think it's like double, triple what the average person makes in the country. So you can make really good money, but you will work a lot, right? I think of it this way: the more someone's willing to pay you, the more they're gonna expect out of you. So always like keep that in the forefront of your mind on like whatever you're trying to do or like whatever you're trying to accomplish. Because again, it can be a lot of work. I want to stress that as much as I humanly possibly can. I don't want you guys to get burned out or try to like pivot inside this field and then you just can't do it, because again, you do get burnt out. And I keep saying that. It happens so many times. People with so many different clients that want to do this type of career path in the career field, then they have like unrealistic expectations as to how long it'll take to actually get within this field or get promoted, and they get burned out and they leave. I don't want that for y'all at all. That's a lot of wasted time and money. And our lifespans are very short. So that's not what I want for you. So again, if you want to do the career field and you want to be successful inside of it, feel free to ask me any questions, drop the comments inside the chat. I'm here to help you out. More content like this, just let me know. But just gotta keep pushing and keep going for things you actually care about for. Again, there's other parts of cybersecurity. You can do security engineering, you can do detection engineering, sim engineer, you can do GRC, AI security stuff that's coming up now as well. And then people don't know what the hell that actually means. But yeah, there's a lot of different fields and career paths you can do for cybersecurity. Doesn't necessarily have to be incident response per se. So just like understand that, and that's perfectly fine if you don't want to do that. Because for example, I didn't want to be a software engineer. I was one for my first year out of college. I hated it, so I moved back to cybersecurity. I still learned a lot, right? So your path will be different than someone else's. Importantly, is what normally ends up happening. So what that last message is. Again, the cyber range is live. Those should be like a link either this side or below. I'll drop in. You have questions about this, let us know. Please subscribe towards the channel. We're trying to grow it as much as we can to create better content for you guys. So any questions or concerns you may have for me at all, just let me know. Otherwise, that's it. There'll be another episode in probably like a week or two. Probably on like a walkthrough like detection engineering, like what certs or what training you should do for it. So any questions about that at all before then, feel free to drop a comment in the chat or ping me on LinkedIn. I appreciate you guys and see you next time.